the number of students who enroll yearly into the university system.
Definitely.
The university cannot cater for all the needs of these students.
Then why bring it in?
The last convocation, the vice chancellor made it known that we have more than 15,000 students.
Wow.
You think it's possible to be able to meet the personal needs, the vocational needs of all these students who went? So there's little the university could do. The only thing is that they show you the way. You are now responsible in the decision to either follow the way you've been shown or to edge out.
So they show me the way, and I pay huge amounts of money, and all they can offer is just to show me the way. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Mike and Matters. I am your host Delight Abel, and today I want us to look at something very critical. I have a guest here with me. He's an educator, he's a lecturer, he's many things, but I think I'll let him introduce himself briefly. Please sir, can you tell us your name and tell us what you do?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Daudu Rotimi.
Okay.
I'm a lecturer with the Federal University Lokoja here in Kogi State.
Okay. That's all.
That is all.
Okay, that's all we should know. So if you want to find out any other thing about him, you can ask me, I'll let you know. Today, because we have an educator, we have a lecturer in our midst, I want to speak from the point of Nigerians, most especially those who have gone through schooling and they feel that they have something else to say about this thing we call schooling. Now, I want to open the floor with this scenario. Educational system in Nigeria is such a way that, okay, we have 3 years in the nursery section, right? We have 6 years in the primary section, right? And then we have 6 years in the secondary section, and then for some people they'll have to stay at home for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years seeking admission into the higher institution, while for others they gain admission as they are rounding up their senior WAEC. Then after that we move straight to the higher institution, which some people spend 4, 5, 6 years depending on the course of study, and then depending on maybe internal or external strike or whatever the case may be. And now realize that after all that, now imagine a young person now going through that phase, or let me use myself as an example. Let's say I spend 25 to 26 years in school. Now I'm coming out of that school, and then it's just as if I will now go into another circle of what they call job hunting, and it's common among Nigerians, common among young people. That is why today questions are coming from every single angle. Should this thing called schooling be scrapped out? Is it really, really important? Is it adding any value to us? Imagine me wasting, okay, I don't want to use the word waste, but let me just use that word for the purpose of what I'm saying. Imagine me wasting 26 years of my life, and then the youthful age is gone. As far as I'm concerned, I've not achieved anything. So let me start with this. What is your view about the schooling system in Nigeria?
Thank you so much for that statement. I would say I was able to underline a statement where you said, do I see schooling as waste? It could be a waste if after going through this process there's no value you are adding to the society, then we'll say it's a waste. Normally, the school does not guarantee your comfortability.
Yes.
Rather, it empowers you and gives you all the necessary skills that you need to be able to become functional in the society. So if you are relying on the school that you are going to school just because you are seeing it as a means to a livelihood, then it becomes a wasted effort. But when you are now seeing school as a process that equips you, empowers you to make you functional in the society, then at that phase we now said you've truly gone through the process, because that is the normal thing, and that is what schooling process involves.
Speaking from the standpoint of a lecturer. But let me ask this question. I know what your answer will be, but I want to use your answer now to ask you further questions. The question is, would you say, what would you choose, schooling or acquiring skills?
Thank you so much for that question.
Please don't tell me you are in between, or maybe you say.
I can't be in between.
Okay.
I can't be in between. Just as I said in my earlier statement, me choosing between school and vocational skills.
Yes.
I will tell you that with the situation of this country now, that even the government itself is encouraging students to go into vocational skills.
Definitely.
But all the government is doing is to empower you through all the necessary skills, all the necessary information you need to become functional. And that is the essence of our entrepreneurship program.
Oh, that brings me to entrepreneurship programs. God bless Nigerian universities. God bless our schools everywhere. But the problem is, ever since this entrepreneurship program was introduced in most schools, we get to see that it's just the name entrepreneurship programs. There are some schools that they are not really doing anything. Students are just paying money. They are not learning a skill. Okay, imagine me now. Let me say, okay, my entrepreneurship program, I chose a skill, let's say baking. And from the beginning of that till the end, I cannot say I was able to bake something. Why? Because either lack of facilitators, or maybe, I don't know, but there are so many reasons. So now this brings me back to, so because of all of this now, that there is a problem.
Thank you so much. The university would only give you limited resources, considering the number of students who enroll yearly into the university system.
Definitely.
The university cannot cater for all the needs of these students.
Then why bring it into it?
They only give you the leverage to be able to understand that these are necessary ingredients that you need along the way. It should be functional, and it will become expedient of any student who pass through the system to be able to see that the university has made concerted effort in bringing all these programs into the system. Now, it is expected and it is required of any student who really want to make something out of vocation to go outside. Though they've been equipped with all the necessary skills. Considering the number of students currently now, as at the last convocation, the Vice Chancellor made it known that we have more than 15,000 students.
Wow.
You think it's possible to be able to meet the personal needs, the vocational needs of all these students with the form of resources the federal government is putting into education in that country?
I understand.
So there's little the university could do. The only thing is that they show you the way. You are now responsible in the decision to either follow the way you've been shown or to edge out.
So they show me the way, and I pay huge amounts of money, and all they can offer is just to show me the way.
Let me tell you this. You coming in for that skills. Now the vocational skills is the effort of voluntary organizations.
Oh.
If you check, though it is a requirement in our curriculum.
Okay.
But the government cannot fund all this. And you are even lucky that you even have such in our institution. We have institutions that do not even have any of them at all.
Now this is the major problem. So I feel, in my own opinion, students should, okay, let's have it this way. What if I happen to be the Minister of Education now, for example? This is something I would like to do. Okay, they will go through the nursery session, beautiful. They will learn all there is to learn. They'll go through the primary level, they'll learn all there is to learn. They'll go through the basic level, that's the junior secondary and then the senior secondary. And after they are done, the next thing I would ensure that they go into is something called skills acquisition, that's vocational skills. So I want, is it possible, or what if I say I want it in such a way that the university, the polytechnics and all of that are scraped out because they are not really helping matters?
Thank you so much for that. You are looking at the fact that at the junior secondary school, at the primary section, vocational skills should be taught. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it should be taught, but they should also be made to learn other things.
Now, let me tell you something so unique about the university system. There are vital research that will be carried out that would help you improve, even if you go and learn these skills outside, that you might not be able to get when you learn them outside. Let's take, for instance, this issue of packaging
and branding and the rest.
Yes, branding.
I get it.
Do you think most of those whom you learn these things from outside don't have the idea of branding? They don't have the idea of packaging.
I understand.
Now, you coming through the university system, they tell you about branding, they tell you about packaging of these goods, and you become better when you now go outside. So, scraping the university system is not going to do you any good. The university is set up so as to give you an advanced level of understanding.
But we are not having that, sir.
The fact is that the university cannot provide for the basic individualized needs of all the.
But it's supposed.
But that is what is expected. But that is the problem of funding in our country.
Okay.
That is one of the issue of funding. If the federal government and if some voluntary organizations could support funding in this country, there will be an improvement. And that is why we daily cry. And we are crying every day that we need funding. We need funding. We need funding in our system.
All right. Now let's look at a country like China, for example, and all other developing countries or developed countries. We see that these ones, they are empowered, or they are giving these necessary skills even as much as they are giving the education and the rest. And from a tender age, they begin to make things that wow people. Now, what if we inculcate that into our system? Because if that is not inculcated, then I think the system is not needed. If the system is not catering to the needs of the people, then why was it now? Then what extent is it? What?
Thank you so much for that. I really understand your pains.
My pains.
And I seriously, I share in your pains. But let me tell you some of the problems we have in this country. We have a lot of problems affecting our country. One of the problems, just as I said earlier, is funding. Another thing is this transition in government. You could remember when Olusegun Obasanjo was the president of this country. He tried as much as possible to be able to make science functional, and that is when he started bringing in some of this technology. Even to the extent he even sent some of our resource persons, some of our staffs, some of our lecturers outside this country to go and learn some of these things. And after that, they were able to come up with some of these ideas. He even made sure that he was the one who even strengthened technical education in our country. And just after the transition of government, the next government, and that is why the Bible says where there is no vision,
I get your point.
So once there is this transition in government, the person might have a different view, might not be the same.
Okay.
So when there is a laid down rule, and it is being mandated that any government that comes in must follow this pattern, then I think we'll be able to copy the likes of China. Okay.
So sir, at this point now, I want to ask you a question. Do you have a skill?
Yes, I do.
Okay, that's beautiful. So if you meet someone like me and I just finished my secondary school and I'm kind of lost, what would you advise me to do? Would you advise me to acquire a skill? I think we're going to wrap up with this. Would you advise me to go get a skill? Or now the point is, should we choose schooling over acquiring skill? So would you advise me to acquire a skill, or you advise me to go chase a degree?
Thank you so much for that question, and I really like to wrap up with this. I'm not married yet, but I hope to get married soon. But the fact remains that I already have a projection of what my child should look like.
Okay.
There is this issue we have in this country where we say long vacation after the termly exams.
I understand.
And the most painful part, which I've always been frowning at, is the fact that after this strenuous academic activity, then you now have people who now say they have holiday lesson. That's long time in between.
Should be used to acquire skills. But since the time is not usually long, so how then would they now become so perfect and excellent in that skills?
The fact is that Rome was not built in a day.
Okay.
There are skills that all you need is the basics.
Okay.
And when you get the basics, you can build on it.
Oh.
Like learning programming, these are skills that within 2 months they can tell you the basics. Then they show you the way and say this is the way you should go in this. And when you have issues and when you meet with any stumbling block, you can easily fall back to your tutor and say, this is what I'm trying to do. That is what most people are doing now.
Okay. So
in my own opinion, I would definitely encourage that we complement the two.
Okay. Because so you're not choosing any over the other. Okay.
This one will give you another advantage, making you better because we're in a competitive market.
Definitely.
So when you come to the competitive market, the skill you've been able to get from here would make you stand out among your peers.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your own view. Now, I may have other questions I want to throw, but because of time, I would not be able to do that. But until maybe after the show, we're going to sit down and continue from where we stopped.
We've always been together, so that was
Yes, yes. All right, guys, we've had a lovely time with Mr. Daudu Rotimi, and he shared his own opinion. I don't know what your opinions are, but do let us know what you think about this. Would you go for skills, or would you decide to settle for the degree? Whatever it is, you are entitled to your own opinion. And do not forget, this is Mike and Matters. I am Delight. Until I come your way again, have a lovely day. Bye.
Thank you.